Welcome to the Senior Moments Podcast, brought to you by SCAN, the Senior Citizens Activities Network, and sponsored by our friends at New Jersey Natural Gas and the Save Green Project. Good afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Mike Cevellino, Executive Director of SCAN, joined each and every week by my co-host, our Communications Director, the lovely and talented Ms. Andrea Tarr.
Hey.
What's shaking?
So many things are shaking. I don't know where to begin.
Every time I move, things shake.
Yeah,
So,
I have that problem too.
not sure.
Let's see. Well, first of all, big news here is
Let's hear it.
next week is our Brain Health Fair. And, you know, that's one of our premier events. And this is the one at the mall because we are doing another one in Toms River in
Which is great.
June.
It's our first one in Toms River, right?
No, I want to say it might be our second one. I think it's our second one. But we do one here every year, and they're always well attended.
Last year was my first one. It was great.
They're really, people hear a brain health fair. It sounds like, what the heck is that? But it's not meant to be intimidating, and it's not even about medicine or medical. It's about, we all want to age well.
Right.
And part of that is keeping this in good shape.
Yes.
In fact, that's probably all of it, really.
Yeah.
And so we have students from Monmouth University's Occupational Therapy Department. They come in and they work with us, and they facilitate our breakout rooms.
Oh, wow.
We always have a keynote speaker from Hackensack Meridian, and we're talking this year really about your senses, like all your five senses and how they light up at different points based on what you're doing. It's going to be a little bit of a different topic. I can't wait. I think it's going to be excellent.
And, still coming out of the pandemic for seniors, it's only been, a year and change now. And, again, they were in isolating conditions for the most part. And now an opportunity to learn about how to use your brain and stay active and healthy and,
Yeah. Yeah,
with your gray matter, as they say.
your gray matter. Yeah,
And then we have
it's gonna be great.
the Senior Expo and Fashion Show May 12th right here at Monmouth Mall.
And that's coming
upstairs.
up. That's coming up right away too. This is it's not our fifth fashion. I mean, it's our fifth fashion show, but it's not our fifth expo. We've been doing the expo for a long
So
time.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the expo's been
Learn
around
something
for
new every day.
Yeah.
That's how
Very
you
long
keep the
time.
Especially with
mind
Andrea
active.
here.
But we incorporated the fashion show about 5 years ago, and it turned it into such a great event, right?
Yeah, it was
How
fantastic.
could we not do it? And normally we have, who do we have? Lou and, it used to be
Lou and Liz?
Lou and Liz.
Lou and Shannon
Liz.
now, right?
Now it's Lou and Shannon, but this year it's only Lou.
Just Lou.
Shannon wasn't
Decided he
available.
doesn't need a co-host.
Yeah. So it's going to, again, the fashion show people are all, some of them are SCAN members, they're all seniors.
Oh, okay.
And-
I was gonna
Outfitted
ask
by
what
Macy's.
Yeah,
Lovely.
Macy's takes good care of us. They do the clothes.
Lovely.
The mall sets up a big runway.
Oh.
It is very cool.
Exciting.
It's very cool.
May
We have-
12th, you said?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We really do.
And
yeah.
you guys will be in attendance at that. So why don't we introduce who you guys?
Yeah, who is this
Let's
guy?
do it. Who are these guys? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Senior Moments Podcast our guest today, Ms. Jacqueline Park, the Regional Director of Business Development for Infinite Care. Welcome to the show, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much
Happy
for
Friday.
having me. Happy Friday.
Right, we had to wait till it was 80 degrees out
Oh my
until,
gosh.
to have you in.
Yes. I mean, I'm an islander. I'm from Cuba, so the heat is definitely
Oh,
my cup of
you're
tea.
good.
Yeah.
I'm more than comfortable
You're good.
here.
So you're at opposite ends of the spectrum from your
I
off-camera,
am.
off mic colleague
Yes,
here.
fire and ice. That's
There
why
you
we get
go.
along. We balance each other so well.
Yeah, I think there should be a business card with that on it.
Oh my
like
God,
one
I
side
would
it's
love
blue,
it.
the other
That's your
side is
band.
red.
That's my
There's
we
your band.
figured it out.
Okay.
Angela.
We could wrap the show
You
up
gotta
now.
pick
We've
up an
accomplished so
instrument.
much
All right,
already.
I
We're
think
done.
Our work is
Angela's
done.
extremely talented.
been nice.
Andrea is extremely talented,
Well, thank
by
you.
the way.
As
So
we have two talented people.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I say a singer. And
you are.
I
I sing a little bit.
piano,
I play piano. I sing a
piano,
little bit.
okay.
Nobody really wants to hear that.
on
but-
our on the next podcast.
Yeah.
We'll
See,
do a little number.
creative people are different than other people. I've always felt that way.
Yeah.
I was the only really creative person in my family. Nobody understood it. Did you grow up in a creative family, or were you the only creative person?
my father liked to sing, and not our generation, but before them, there was a Cevellino who was a band leader in Atlantic City.
How
He
cool.
played
All right.
drums.
Well, then you
so
took after him.
That
gonna
was, I
say.
think, where that all came from.
Cool.
You're just the successor.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
guess.
ran down the bloodline.
I've just never played in Atlantic City before, so.
I
not
will
too
say though,
late.
yeah, creative minds definitely different, and very lucky that I had my brother. So we kind of didn't have that balance each other out effect. We kind of just drove everybody crazy with our creativity. So, but it was nice to have a partner in crime.
You guys were
to
the stars
share
of all the
that.
family get-togethers
Yeah,
and
of
stuff,
course.
right?
Christmas carols,
Yeah.
everything, birthdays,
Your parents.
everything.
Show them what you can do, kids.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you have a
God.
piano? David, come here. Jackie,
Yeah,
come here.
yes.
I'd be like, okay, I'm coming. And then that would be it.
Oh, you were right into it.
Oh yeah, we
Oh,
there was no
okay.
yeah, we
You
did
didn't have to be
shows, we did
forced.
everything. Oh no
Wow.
force. Yeah, we loved
So now
it.
you're busy with this huge job.
Yes.
You mentioned your kids off
I did,
air.
yes, yeah.
Are you able to do any performing now or any singing? Or you?
With my kids.
Okay.
Mary Had a Little Lamb is definitely it's one of my top go-tos.
You do a rock
that's great
version?
that you-
Twinkle,
that you
Twinkle, Little Star,
That's great that
yes.
you introduce your kids to it.
Yes.
That's great.
My son loves to sing. You know, my daughter, she tries, bless her heart. But yeah, I think you know, that's where I keep it to nowadays.
I think a
Children's
comeback is in the
songs.
offing, for sure. All right, so you told us earlier, Infinite Care is, you guys are known for post-acute care.
That's right.
So why don't you explain to not only the listeners, but to me, what that is and how it differs from all the other acute, there's, so we were saying there's LTACs, there's
Yeah.
subacute care, there's,
Yeah.
break down for folks.
Post-acute care
Thank
is as you know, as simple as it sounds. It's the kind of care that you receive. It's that bridge between having acute care, which if you're familiar or you're not familiar with
Yeah,
what
actually, even explain what that is because
So-
some people.
Right. Yeah. No.
Well-
It's. I mean, it's part of the education piece. So acute care is when you or a loved one, anybody has any kind of critical care intervention, which means they've had an injury, they've
Okay.
fallen sick, an infection, they have to go into a hospital setting and receive acute care. So it's a very critical point. It could be elective surgeries too. You go in there for a shoulder replacement or something like that, and then post-acute care comes in after that. So post-acute care is that bridge that connects people from the acute setting that are looking to continue their recovery, rehabilitation, and healing pathway to return back home.
Okay.
So
But they're not quite ready to go home right after the hospital.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, and it varies between severity levels when you're in a clinical setting, right? People hear the term ICU, intense critical care unit. So obviously, somebody who's going in for an elective knee surgery, and they're 25 and they had a soccer injury, they will probably go home and just continue with outpatient therapy.
Right.
Versus someone, like, let's say my grandmother who's 80 years old and she had a fall
Right.
and she needs to have her hip replaced and she's not quite there and my grandfather can't take care of her because he's also elder as well. So she's looking for that next step down, which is where post-acute comes in.
I see.
So the different levels of post-acute, like you were saying, there's LTAC, which is long-term acute hospital. It's basically somebody who's, right, you're still in an acute setting, but it's a step down really. So there's a lot of more interventions, there's a lot more nursing, doctor care, attention. And then there's subacute rehab, which is, the level and the platform that I'm going to be speaking on in terms of our new building and, what
Right.
we really have going on. And that is, again, continuation of getting physical therapy, occupational therapy, rehabbing someone to the point where they can comfortably return back to their normal daily life. And that's what we want for them. We don't, another piece of post-acute is long-term care,
Right.
which is when, that option of returning home safely is not really an option. So then, we care
Not
for them.
realistic at that time.
Not
based
realistic
on-
at that time, which, things can always change. There's people that go on to hospice care services and they're only on hospice for 6 months and they turn around, they have a rally, they get the rest that the body
it
needs.
can happen. Yeah, it can happen.
So before we get into this beautiful new building that's underway here in Red Bank, tell the listeners a little bit about Infinite Care. How long have you been with them and what's that organization about?
So I've been with Infinite Care for going on a year now.
Okay.
And They are a post-acute facility, a post-acute rehab company, primarily with subacute and long-term care. So essentially, they started out in Florida, and there's about 40 buildings in Florida that they have. And now they are...
I hear there's a few seniors in Florida.
Oh,
So
a few.
just a handful. Yeah, we have
Here
to
and there,
fight
they're
tooth and nail
sprinkled
for
out.
them. Yeah. And so now they've, migrated up to the Great North, and
Because
that
they
is...
heard about Ocean County.
It's just amazing here, right? Why wouldn't we want to be here? Although sunny weather in Florida. But,
True.
you need all of the seasons, But so now we have buildings in New York, New Jersey, and I kind of help oversee the marketing, business development for those buildings. And part of that is obviously education. Marketing is a lot of education, which is, what you guys are giving me the opportunity to do now on this platform, which I'm very thankful for. But the company... they are structured to believe that quality of care in a rehab process is what is going to make the most impact on a person's life, which is something I think that a lot of companies try to do, and they just can't quite figure it out. Whereas, and I've worked for various companies, so, I can truly speak on being here at Infinite Care, the difference that I feel with knowing if I have a problem or there's a customer service issue where somebody's not getting the best care, I know that I can speak to someone and there will be a resolution, there will be a plan of correction. There's actual care behind us wanting to take care of people. Humans caring for human beings is
That's
the best
wonderful.
way I can put it.
So that's wonderful, and what a great company philosophy considering the work that you guys are doing. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about this beautiful new facility that's going up in Red Bank. It's not quite ready yet, right? But will be soon?
It's not. Yes, it will be. I mean,
It'll be called Red Bank Rehabilitation?
It'll be called Red Bank Center for Rehabilitation and
Okay.
Healing.
Okay.
Oh, that's quite a name.
Yes.
Makes it sound very therapeutic. And
It's supposed to be. I mean, there's going to be waterfront views in a number of the rooms because we're located right off of the swimming river.
Yes.
So we'll have, there's access to the water, which we're not allowed to use now, but we're thinking of getting like a gazebo so we can do kind of family visits and therapy outside when the weather's nice like today. But it's located on Chapin Ave. We recently acquired it from Hackensack Meridian. The building has been there for quite some time. It's formerly known as the Majestic.
Okay.
And we are looking to just kind of dig up the dirt that has kind of accumulated over the building over the past several years.
Right, sort of left in disrepair kind of when you guys moved into it?
Yeah, I would say that that's a nice way to put it.
Okay.
And I mean, the owners, they have many, many buildings. So when one, the squeaky wheel always gets the oil. So this building wasn't really a squeaky wheel. We have great partners in care that have been there. So there's longevity in the nurses in the building. Our new director of physical therapy, she's been with the building also. Her name is Kristen. She's, absolutely wonderful. And our new administrator there, Joseph Hiller, who was with Infinite Care in a New York facility. He's now migrated down to Red Bank with, myself and Angela, and he's wonderful. He is a human being who is looking to care for human beings. So, he's always walking around the kitchen, housekeeping, the smallest things that I think would normally go under the belt. I think he really tries to pay attention to. An overfilled garbage can make a difference to someone who's coming from a hospital setting and they're not home yet. And, they're like, well, if I was home and I can get up and I could empty that garbage,
Nobody wants
that's
to
what I
look
would.
at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, really like the quality of care versus the quantity of how many patients can we get in and take care of, and, what kind of metrics can we put out on the board and tell people, we've taken care of this many stroke patients or this many hip replacements, when really we just want to focus on the quality
I didn't
of
know what that was.
That's
care
right. It's
that we're
live.
giving
It's
our
live
community.
podcast, so
Yeah.
impromptu things happen.
No,
Drop our phones on this show.
but yeah, it's We just started renovations a few weeks ago, and it's going to be a multi-million-dollar renovation.
Wow.
We're literally looking to tear it up from the ground up. There's 4 floors, so we're hoping to have, you know, our long-term care patients in a much more comfortable setting than they were previously, with just kind of broken furniture and, you know, beds that may or may not have been working, to actually feeling like they're going to be in a place where they can be comfortable.
And that's conducive to healing when when you're in a comfortable spot, right?
100%, yeah. I mean, which is why most
Yeah.
people actually opt to try to go home after the hospital, because they feel that they won't be able
They
to
want to
find
feel where
comfort.
they feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, with Angela's help, we've been able to really grasp the attention and the loyalty of physicians in our community that serve our community. So they know these patients, they know the hospitals, they know what people are looking for, and different programs that we're looking to start, like a holistic healing with Dr. Saraswat, and you know, just bring an added level of care to rehabilitation.
So when's all this beautifulness
going
going to
on,
be?
by the
Yeah,
way.
my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, I
When's
know.
it going to be
Well,
ready to roll?
is
We'll
that-
have
is that
a ribbon
all?
cutting event. Is that
Wow.
all? Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Remember I was saying big words?
Yeah.
Sometimes I talk and people are like, what does she mean?
No,
But we have, like I said, undergone the initial renovations about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do a ribbon cutting and a grand opening by the end of summer. You know, just to keep
all
the
right.
heat down for Angela.
That soon.
that's not that far off.
It's not. I mean, we're in April, right? So I think of 4 months, like end of August, before kids go back to school. But yeah, we would love to, and obviously have you guys come out, and you know,
We'll be there.
We're involved with Tap Into as well, so we're looking to, you know, make it as big as we possibly can, and make sure that the word gets out to the community that we're here. And we're reinvesting into what matters, which is the quality of comfort, the level of care with the nurses we're bringing in and the doctors to structure programs, and the healing.
You're listening to the Senior Moments podcast with Mike and Andrea. Our guest today is Jacqueline Park, the Regional Director of Business Development for Infinite Care, and she's telling us all about this beautiful brand new facility that's going up in Red Bank, a subacute rehab and skilled nursing facility. Red Bank, give me the name again.
Yes.
Red Bank Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
I want to go there. I mean, do you have to be sick, or
It doesn't sound like
No.
a subacute
it's like a vacation?
rehab. It
It's
sounds
go to a
like
travel agent.
A tranquil place of meditation and mental healing.
You know, I wish we could post up
Let's
the
go.
pictures, but
We'll be right back, folks.
I'm going to give you. We'll go now. But I mean, I think that's, you know, like we talked about, being comfortable helps with healing.
Well, even
and
so you picked a name that just conjures up a lot of healing images. I like
Yes,
I like
agreed.
that. Yeah.
And I mean, the color scheme and everything is, you know, we're looking to have plants where we can have plants, because, you know, certain patients can't be around stagnant water. So really, there's just so many multi-levels of thought process that's going into this and the construction of the building. But I mean, we're anticipating it. I know Angela and we've been working on it to get the word out so much, and then we finally start construction, and you know, I'm just like, tear everything out. Let's just do it. If you need help with demolition, you know, let me know. I'll put my boots on. But it's, you know, like I said, it's a hidden gem, and there's so many good people in the building that we're wanting change and wanting to bring a different level of care that now we have the opportunity to do.
All right, so who is eligible to go to your facility when it's ready to go, and how do you get in there? But how does it work?
So that's a great question. So like we spoke about, acute setting, anybody
So someone's in the
who's-
hospital, presumably. That's where they
Yes.
would come from to go to your
Right.
place.
Typically,
Okay.
I would say that that's where the majority of our patients and our residents would come from. Somebody who's in an acute setting hospital. You're not quite ready to go home yet, and sometimes with home cares, another avenue of post-acute care, there's sometimes a waiting list to
Right.
get you into home care because there's so many patients that are going
Yes,
home.
yes.
So the next step would be subacute rehab. And, sometimes there's a stigma because it's also known as skilled nursing
Yes.
facility. So some people hear skilled nursing and they're like, oh no, I'm going into a nursing home. I'm going to be forgotten about. I'm going to be just left in a room.
And they hear the horror stories
Well,
of
because
And-
that,
yeah.
that has a terrible reputation.
And
You're
it's-
hearing those words.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the terms are a bit antiquated in the sense of what it actually means, which is why we wanted to bring in the words rehabilitation and healing. So the community and patients get a sense of, I'm leaving the hospital, but I'm going to go somewhere where I can get back to being myself again by
right.
healing. So somebody who's in a hospital setting, they're obviously in touch with a social worker or a case manager, which would be their go-to person in that setting. And they would say, we're looking to discharge you. You're going to be discharged in a few days. Do you have any idea of, which post-acute or subacute rehab you want to go to? And they say, I have no idea. Sometimes they're given a list and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sometimes there's hospital systems that are closed. So people like myself, Angela, other liaisons, marketers, we don't get the chance to even educate the social workers on our new programs. So a lot of times people turn to Google, which can be, a huge bonus, or sometimes it can be a huge fall.
Right.
Because
If
sometimes...
a couple of negative things,
Yeah, and-
truthful or not.
Right. People, even when you go on vacation, you always remember, like, oh, the beach was
yeah.
beautiful, but the food at that one restaurant was so bad, and I'll dwell. But people tend to dwell on the negativity. So case managers, social workers in the hospitals play a huge role in us being able to educate the community and letting them know. So Red Bank Rehabilitation Center for Healing is going to be something you're going to have to look out for. You can definitely Google it, and we're going to update our website. So if you're in an acute setting and you're looking for post-acute care, that's going to be the number one way I would say that we would be able to, call you, educate you, let you know. Family members can come in and take a tour. So, we'll obviously open our doors. Right now, there's a waiver with Medicare, CMS, that if you don't need to be hospitalized in order to receive post-acute care. So it could be that you're coming from a doctor's office and you were in a hospital
Okay.
a month ago, but you're still not feeling quite right.
Right.
The doctor can write you a script for subacute rehab or physical therapy or additional nursing care just to level out your medications maybe.
And it doesn't require then a hospital stay,
And
which
it
is also
doesn't
frightening
require-
for
Right. Less risk of
people.
infection, less risk of being admitted or potentially acquiring a hospital transmitted, infection, which unfortunately happens all the time. No fault to the hospitals at all. But it's just something that happens. And unfortunately, Medicare, CMS, they've decided to end this waiver now that the pandemic has kind of come to an end, which, it has and
Let's
it
hope.
hasn't.
Yeah.
But I think that the benefits of having people come in from home and a doctor's office versus an acute setting benefited them so much more versus having to go through another loophole because you have to be admitted for 3 nights, and then hearing that is also taxing.
Right.
So another way, and other people that might be eligible to come for post-acute rehab are people on hospice. Sometimes they can stay for a respite stay, which is exactly what it sounds like, a respite for the caretakers that are at home. So if you have a loved one who is on hospice at home and summer is coming up, so we have a lot of people that are going to be taking vacation. And they're worried. I don't want to go on vacation and leave mom and dad here with the hospice nurse who's only coming in once a week. Like I'm scared to have the neighbor. So a covered benefit through insurances and through the hospice benefit is a respite stay. So it's a week-long stay, and we communicate with...
This is for the caregiver.
No, this is
it's
for the
person.
patient.
So the caregiver can go away.
Can get a break.
They can
Okay.
take the
Yeah,
respite.
and I feel right, and I feel like it's
That
an
makes a lot more sense than what I said.
underutilized service
100%.
because so many caregivers still don't understand that the respite is available.
Yeah, which causes caregiver burnout too. So it's, that education piece, but we try to partner with our hospice
Oh, yeah.
companies and our home
Yeah.
care companies and let them know that, vacations are coming up, if any of your families are reaching out to you and they need a place to stay, they can come to us for a week and it's a covered benefit. So, that's another avenue. But really those would be, for right now, I would say those are the top patients that would be eligible, or the top residents eligible for coming into the facility to get care.
How did you get into this business? What were you doing before you got involved in this? I
have actually been in the post-acute setting my whole life. I think it says 18 years of experience. There. I was born in the hospital and I never left.
You never left.
And I never left. The doctors loved me so much they kept me. But my mother worked in a hospital. She worked actually for Hackensack when it was Raritan Bay Old Bridge, up Route 9. And I was in high school, and I knew I needed volunteer hours to get into college. And
your mom was a nurse?
My mom, she actually ran the medical records department. So she would interact with a lot of doctors, and they would all talk to her and say, you need to get your kids into the medical field. You need to get your kids into the medical field. And then, one day I was like, oh, I need hours for high school for my program so I get into college. And my mom said, you know what? Why don't you come to work with me and see how you like it? And I went into the pharmacy department, and I got to know medical staff and nurses and patient care, and I have not been able to leave. I stayed in the hospital system for quite some time. I went to college in Massachusetts, and then every time I came back to Jersey, I went back to work in the pharmacy department. They kind of, I was the youngest employee there, so they raised me, and they tried to give me as much direction as they possibly could, and they're like, be a nurse, be a doctor.
But you didn't want to go that route.
I didn't. Giving care is so personal to me, and it's frightening. I'll be honest. I did not have the guts to do it.
It's not for everybody.
It's not, and I recognize that, but I still wanted to be involved with giving care and providing care, or at least facilitating a pathway to connect people to the right care. So I branched out into Newark Beth Hospital for the heart and lung transplant department.
Great hospital.
Amazing hospital, amazing physicians, amazing programs. I could not speak better of it. I had great mentors there as well. Dr. Zucker, Dr. Barron, Dr. Migliori, so many doctors there that really showcased what giving quality care and taking care of patients was to me. And then from there, I learned about hospice, the patients that weren't getting the transplants, but, unfortunately still had heart failure, still had lung failure. And I ended up working with Ascend Hospice.
Oh.
And I know you know Jen Droll.
Yes,
she was on here before.
Friend of Scan.
Yeah.
I love her so much. She's amazing.
Her.
She was also a mentor of mine. And from there, I got involved with their mother company, Care One. And I found the post-acute world, and I, thought to myself...
The post-acute world.
The post-acute world. I said, this is where I'm going to be spending the best of my days, that I can make the most impact. And I've never left. I've been doing it for the last 6 years, and
wow.
I'm hoping to continue that, and, even working with adult daycares and just everything about the industry. For me, the elderly community, the geriatrics, they are like my children. My kids, as much as they want to be independent, at the end of the day, they cannot be. And it's nothing against them, and it's just the way it is. And my father recently, has gotten sick, and not knowing somebody like me in the field and the different things and obstacles that we had to go through, it's changed my view even more on how much advocacy is needed for people in these predicaments.
Yeah.
That it's not their decision to get sick. It's not their choice to need help, but it's something that, they should be entitled to.
Yeah.
And if I can do anything in my power, in my level, wherever I am, to facilitate any kind of care for, people like my dad, I would be more than happy to do it.
You seem your passion for what you do really shines through. That's for sure.
For sure.
Thank you.
One big thing that I've learned from working at SCAN is that even though there are a ton of resources and opportunities out here, how many people still have not paid attention to them.
Yeah.
And as much education as we've done here on SCAN.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're constantly offering you all of this information and telling people, listen, you learn about it now because in a moment of crisis, you're not going to remember.
Right.
But it still
And we
doesn't sink
spoke
in.
about that, like in the very beginning, right? How
Yeah.
a lot of times families, you know, myself included with my dad, it really was out of the blue, it was out of nowhere. Like we kind of got blindsided. And because I do what I do, I wasn't nervous. I had an action plan. But a lot of times it's families sitting at a bedside in a hospital
Right.
and being like, what are we going to
In
do
the
with
heat of the
mom?
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, the 11th hour comes, the doctors in the hospitals, again, no fault to their own, right? Like this is just how the care is in our country, in our state right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do what we can to, like I said, just build voices for people, give them the advocacy that they deserve in the hospital, in the community settings, to let them know and educate as much as possible that, you know, if you are ever feeling backed up into the corner, there are people out there that can help you. And, you know, it's very frightening. It's very, very frightening. But, you know, hopefully you encounter good people who actually care and want to help and make a difference. And, you know, that's why I say being at Infinite Care now, I've never felt that more in my 18 years of being in the medical field than I have up until a year ago. They
Wow.
truly care about people. And when there is an issue, I can get on the phone and call the CEO and say, Saul, we have an issue, like this is what I'm thinking, and he'll be like, great, let's do it. Let me know if you need my help.
That makes a big difference. You know, you can get things
that's
done on folks'
pretty
behalf.
Awesome that
Yeah.
you can get things done like that.
So-
Well, you're definitely in the right place for you.
Yeah,
Thank
it seems
you.
like it, right, Ann?
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
So you just alluded to it a moment ago, and there's choices out there that folks have once they start doing some education. Why should they choose your company over another?
I would say because we're still hyper-focused on growing our current buildings. We're not looking to expand and buy a bunch of facilities where, you know, you can go to this facility that we have, or you can go to the one 5 miles away, and this one has a program for this. We're really gearing all of our buildings to be like a super center for programs, for secondary rehabilitation care. We're trying to promote wellness and healing through all the care that we give. And that stems from, you know, like I said, the CEO at the top, Saul Klein, all the way down into his administrators, the regionals like myself. And every time there is any kind of care issue, it's hands on deck, all hands on deck, not just when state is around. When state survey comes, everybody gets nervous. And they're like, oh my God,
put
we
on
have
your
to
best
clean
behavior,
everything.
clean
Right.
everything up.
Right, but
Put
you
on
know,
the big
for
show.
us,
Empty that garbage.
Yeah.
yes, empty that
Empty the
garbage. But you know, for us, I think it's really it's a day-to-day thing. When there is an issue, we're still hyper focused on containing and becoming, you know, a better facility for people to come and seek refuge for recovery to get back home. Whereas a lot of other places, I feel sometimes, you know, the idea of recovery gets lost in the sauce on top of just coming to us because we're the best. Well, why are you the best, though? What really makes the difference? A lot of companies sometimes, you know, people in my position are afraid or worried to speak out on problems because they're like, oh, this is negative. Like, oh, this person wasn't happy and they went back to the hospital. Whereas at this company, like at Red Bank, we have an issue and it's immediately, there's an intervention. There's a plan. Our director of nursing, our administrator, we're getting on top of it and we're coming up with solutions. So really the difference that I've seen is the amount of people that want to make the difference versus saying everybody complains. There's always somebody who wants to complain. And then that bleeds down into the employees not wanting to say, oh, we have a care issue, or, oh, this person was left in, you know, a soiled linen or soiled diaper for like 12 hours. Oh, well, that's not true. You know, it's, at this company, it's not like that. We want to know, we want to investigate, we want to intervene.
Wonderful. So how can folks find out more about your organization? Adult children who are listening and seniors who might want to check this out for, you know, information and
So we do have a website, www.infinitecare.com, and we have our locations, and Red Bank Center for Rehabilitation and Healing will be on there. And then as soon as we have all of our state okays, we will have our own website. So as soon as we have the official name of that website for Red Bank, we'll let you guys know. But
Please
we'll also
do.
put it out. And we're also doing articles on Tap Into. So anybody in the community, they can always look at our articles on Tap Into. And Angela is a member of the Monmouth Chambers, and she goes to all the meetings.
Angela Ashley, ladies and gentlemen. Off
Angela
camera.
Ashley, yes.
We're going to have her record some commercials here at Scan for the sponsors, just so we
She's
can have the
amazing.
British accent
Yes,
in there.
yes.
Our phone
It's so
tree, the whole
soothing.
nine, right?
She's so soothing. I love it.
Yeah. Well, Jacqueline Park, thank you so much for coming on the show. Our members will learn more about you guys because I understand you'll be at our Senior Expo and Fashion Show.
Okay.
So that's great. So, folks, after you listen to this show, you can learn more there. Regional Director of Business Development for Infinite Care. Jacqueline Park, we have a question we want to ask you that we ask all the guests on this show.
Ooh.
So, who would play you in the TV movie about your life?
Because you know there's going to be one.
Oh my God. You know what?
It would have to be your singing career and your medical
my
background.
gosh.
Lots to cover,
With
huh?
your brother, you guys were like the
It's
Carpenters
so
growing up,
hard
right?
to say. Honestly, because I feel like the actress that I really love, and my husband would probably laugh at this,
But he's not here.
but he's
Right.
not
Say it.
here. But it would be Sandra Bullock.
We had that from another person.
You know, we
Did
have
you
to start
really?
keeping a log of
Holy
who.
moly.
Yeah.
I love her so much, and I think I got like a look-alike once on one of those like random,
Yeah, I could see
like
that.
things. I used to have like really dark hair. Now I've dyed it blonde, but Sandra Bullock. I would definitely say she's
All
All
right.
right, we'll go
Look
with,
out
we'll
for
go
the
with that's two for Sandra Bullock.
The
by
Jacqueline
way.
Park story, played by Sandra Bullock, will be coming to Netflix, I think, in the next year or two.
Will she
So.
also play your twin?
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I didn't even think of that. We do kind of look alike, but
We
he's
have
like
to-
the, taller male version of me.
Yeah, she could pull it off, I think. If anybody
I think
can,
she could.
Sandra
She's
Bullock.
very
She's a good
talented.
actress.
It would just be
Yeah.
hard to do the piano singing parts of it. They'd have to do cutaways and stuff.
Oh, true. She could figure it out.
Who would play him, if not
Oh
her?
my God. Oh, David. I feel like, I don't know. He dressed up like Freddie Mercury a couple years ago.
Fortunately, Freddie can't play him.
So
How about
not
Harry
available.
Connick Jr. maybe? Something
there
like
we go.
that. Yeah.
Oh my God, he would love that.
That would be great.
Yeah, the piano.
Yeah.
I would say so.
All right, folks, we'll tune in next time to learn more about the Park family and who will play them in the various TV segments. But thank you so much for coming in. We
Thank
really
you.
do
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thanks to our gracious hosts here at Monmouth Mall and our partner, a Shared Universe podcast studio, the amazing Ming Chen, as always, getting it done for us. Angela Ashley, my co-host, Andrea Tarr. Always a pleasure. Until next time, this is the Senior Moments Podcast. Have a great week, everyone.